And a good morning to everybody here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning. We're happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connecting with us, thank you so much for tuning in all across the country and the world. We appreciate you so very much. You know that on every other Tuesday bi-monthly, we have the opportunity to welcome Christy Salters-Martin to the broadcast. Christy, International Boxing Hall of Famer, as well as running Christy's Champs, helping people all throughout the world with that, public speaking, as well as her book. So many different things that Christy has done in society to try and help people to pay it forward and to let you know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a way to move forward. So with that being said, we're always honored to have Christy Salters-Martin on the broadcast. We call her the Champ, and now she has a dog named Champ. So we got two champs that'll be here with us this morning, as well as Johnny Callas will be joining us, WBC professional boxing referee, and so much more. Some call him Coach. We'll talk to him about a bunch of different things here this morning. And, of course, boxing photographer Pat Orr is joining us as well, and she is the owner of PB&J's Lunchbox on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, the exclusive partner of this segment on Wake Up Call, Christy's Corner. Later on in the broadcast, in the second hour, around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, we will go picture-in-picture with Matt Gallagher, who once again has the Maine-Endwell Spartans high school football team back in the playoffs. He is a perennial playoff coach as well as a perennial state champion and sectional champion. So we'll be talking with him this morning. Then we'll get into my Syracuse basketball interviews. Adrian Autry era has officially begun with a victory, and I will have my Q&A with Adrian Autry as he gets a win in his first stint as a head coach, as well as J.J. Starling, Naheem McLeod, who's 7'4", and I'm 5'8", and that was a lot of fun. I feel like he should give me some of his height. We should somehow share, and then we could find a way in the middle. So you'll hear from Naheem, J.J. Starling, and Justin Taylor, as well as assistant coach Alan Griffin, and we'll round out with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli. So, with all that being said, it's time to jump on here, picture in picture. We have Johnny that will be in picture with us, as well as Christy. Pat is on our phone, and so I want to welcome everyone to Christy's Corner. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Great to be here. Honored and privileged.
So, Christy, I'll start with you here. Looking at this opportunity that we have every other week here on Wake Up Call, you wanted Johnny to be a part of the show. What is it about Johnny that you wanted to feature him and have the opportunity to have him join the conversation?
I have a lot to say about Coach Johnny. First and foremost, the way I met him was he brought his amateur team from COBA. It's a great boxing organization, down to my tournament in Fayetteville, North Carolina a couple years ago. And after meeting him and hanging out with him for just those few days, I'm like, you know what? You guys may not have come here to adopt somebody, but you did. You have me for life. I'm part of the team, whatever. We're going to roll from this point forward as me, an official member of COBA. But with that organization, they do so much in the community. He has his amateur boxers involved in domestic violence, learning awareness, helping people that are in that situation, sexuality, people that are being challenged about their sexuality, people that are low income, whatever the cause may be. That organization, COBA, and those amateur kids are being taught about other people and how to help other people. It is so important what he's doing there. That's his amateur boxing program, which he can elaborate way more on than I just did. But he himself is, a Hall of Fame referee, former amateur boxer, right, Coach?
Perhaps national champ, NCBA.
Coaching all these up and coming young fighters, just involved in boxing in so many different ways, as well as involved in life. And that's what really is important. And that's what I try to tell people that don't understand why Christy's Champs domestic violence awareness organization. Why would you ever be involved with boxing? Well, this is the perfect example of why boxing and domestic violence awareness will be a good marriage anywhere, because these are the kids that are coming to Coach Johnny's gym that are, lots of times are in this kind of home. They're in an environment that's not so stable. They're in an environment where they're seeing domestic violence. They're in an environment where their sexuality is being challenged. There's so many different issues, and they're helping and they're explaining to these kids that it's okay. You're going to get past this. We can help you get through it, and we're going to move you on, help you move on. He's helping kids go to college. So he's helping these kids like with their life. Like when they grow up and they get old like me, they're going to come back and they're going to say, Coach Johnny, thank you so much, because you changed my life. And that is why amateur boxing is so important, and why there are so few people like Coach Johnny, but why Coach Johnny is so important, and why it was important to me to have him on the show today.
And so with that intro, Johnny, I mean, your response to that, everything you've heard from Christy about, your history, but why she cares about you and what you're doing and your mission, just what that means to you to hear what she had to say about what she's taken from what you're trying to put out there.
Dan, first of all, I have to say, I just died and went to heaven. Hearing that from Christy Salters Martin, somebody who I idolized and then got to know and appreciate so much on a human level, I have to say, you're trying to get me choked up, champ.
When you speak the truth, that's just what it is. It's the truth.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. The great thing was it was actually right after COVID, and at the Charter Oak Boxing Academy, we had just started a girls program. And, the inner city boys are grossly underfunded and underserviced, and inner city girls, forget about it. So we did a program. We actually had 55 girls ages 8 to 18 in the gym for a good year. And I said to myself, what a better place to go than to go meet Christy, have them box in her tournament. And it was so right. It was so much more. They had a great experience at the tournament. Christy made sure everybody boxed. It wasn't necessarily like a hardcore U.S. national championship, where if you're 1 ounce over, you're DQ'd and you're off at the scale. And it was just an absolutely wonderful experience. And what really blew my mind was just how open and inviting Christy was. 3 young ladies that really shined in that tournament, all right now, are in college. And that's really, really what we're all about. And all of them, especially our Jada Wyatt, basically called Christy her bestie. I mean, we left there and they had Christy's number and could call her or text her any time. And actually, all 3 of those young ladies are openly gay as well. So Christy's influence and role modeling is priceless and tremendous. But Christy knows the Charter Oak Amateur Boxing Academy Youth Development Program, which I founded 35 years ago in a really tough housing project in Hartford. It was like a war zone. We grew from 10 kids and 800 square feet to now we have over 100 kids enrolled, boys and girls, obviously. And we're in a 4,200 square foot gym, which is a big upgrade. But I have to tell you, we actually are looking at bigger buildings because we really don't have enough room. But Christy nailed it. Our job at Coben, our mission has always been, and this sounds a bit crass, but it's true. We are there to keep our kids alive, in school, off drugs, out of gangs, and moving towards some form of post-secondary education. College would be ideal. If not college, not everybody's fit for college. Trade schools, the trades, obviously, plumbers and electricians make phenomenal money. Civil service, but basically to keep our kids on track and reaching their full potential. And then hopefully they'll even come back and then give back to their community. That's our goal. Our goal is not to make professional boxers. Obviously, I love professional boxers. I have the honor and privilege of refereeing the best professional boxers in the world. Um, but, we all know, and I think we realistically can say it's one in a zillion that can make a career in professional boxing. So we really stress that with our kids. Um, yeah.
And when you talk about all of that, Johnny, that desire to help, and you said we're not here to make professional boxers, we're here to keep kids alive, we're here to help people move forward, get them an education, make sure that they contribute positively to society, that they take care of themselves, that they love themselves. Where does all of this come from? Why are you driven to pay it forward and to help? There's people that go through life saying, I got to take care of me, I got to make sure I'm okay, I got to do what I need to do to get forward. And then there's other people that are saying, I want to take care of myself, but I'm also going to reach out and help other people. Why are you doing that? What is it about you that just is called to want to help other people and to not simply just succeed and sit on a mountain by yourself?
Great question. And I failed to mention kind of the duality of Johnny Coach Callas, which is I naturally started COBA 35 years ago and actually probably done some of the best social work of my life there. But in addition to that parallel career, and one I love is I've been in child protection. So I work for the Connecticut Department of Children and Families every single day for the last 34 years. It's funny, naive kid, when I was offered the job, I said the only way I can take this job is if I can still keep doing my boxing academy. And which is, funny. People are dying to get positions like that. They're very coveted. But I have to say, my mom was just an absolutely beautiful person. I truly feel she was a saint. My dad was a radical attorney who, believed in the underprivileged. He was a big proponent of American Indian movement, and I think between the two of them, it had a major influence on me. And I love people. I love people. I love life. I love cultures. And I especially, love kids. I think, especially inner city kids are our most challenged yet precious resource. I see with a little bit of help and plugging the holes that they may not be getting at home or in the community or in school, that they can just flourish. I give you an example. Robert Ford was with me in the very first group in 1988, 15 years old. Robert really grew up in in the tough project, right in the project, where literally it was so out of control and the gang wars were so heavy that the municipal police department couldn't handle it anymore, and the state police came in and took it over. Kids were literally joining gangs, getting shot, killed right in the projects. We actually had a shooting right out front of our door. um, but Robert, instead of, and I give him a lot of credit because I got to tell you, he was not the greatest boxer when he was a kid. And he was also the most opinionated kid I ever dealt with. He drove me insane at times. He's one of the few kids I had to suspend from the gym for like a week. But that resiliency of his and that opinionated spirit of his, kept him alive, out of gangs, off drugs, in the gym, having a nice little amateur boxing career, but then moving on up and graduating high school, which at that time in Hartford, we had a 40% dropout rate. But Robbie, and to his own credit, and ultimately I give our kids the credit, because they deserve it. He basically got into Central Connecticut State University, my alma mater, where I boxed. He boxed for them. He later transitioned over to Springfield College, got his degree, got his 4-year degree, then shockingly joined the police department. And in a very short time, he got his master's degree, married a beautiful woman that he was dating, has 3 beautiful children, and rose to become the deputy chief of police. And now he's like 48 years old. He lives in a bigger house than I, has a beautiful family, has a beautiful brand new Cadillac, is my assistant head coach, was my president of my board, and he's also the head coach of University of Hartford boxing. And when they say you want your kids to do better than you, that's a perfect example. And that's what we're all about. We're trying to put out Robert Ford's and really help our kids become champions of life. That you'll hear our saying, we coined that saying that, yes, we're going to make great champions in the ring. And maybe if somebody wants to go pro and they should go pro, that's great. But even more so, we are concentrating on making champions of life.
Oh, and I can appreciate that, and I know that that speaks very much to everything that Christy has shared here on the show over the weeks here on Christy's Corner, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, proudly brought to you by PB&J's Lunchbox. And the owner of PB&J's, as well as a longtime boxing photographer, Pat Orr, is here on the phone with us as well. Pat, hearing everything you just heard from Johnny, I could hear kind of your reaction to it as he was talking. What are your thoughts on what he's worked to do for people and how he's tried to help and pay it forward and to go beyond boxing and essentially to use boxing as a vehicle to bring people in, to let them know they have a family, they have a home, there's something positive in their life, and then to utilize that vehicle to hopefully steer them in the right direction. Your thoughts on everything that he's talked about and that he's done?
Incredible. The kids of today need people like this and need options. Syracuse has a huge gang problem too. And I know Ray Rinaldi has a gym over on the west side. And to tell you the truth, Johnny, you sound like Ray Rinaldi on steroids 10 times with what you built.
Thank you, Pat.
It's just to go into his gym and see, just what he does is incredible. I think it was posted last week or this week that Syracuse school systems, 10% of the kids that go to the school are like homeless. And I just can't imagine that number, it has to go down. These kids have no options, and you give them options and you give them direction. And that story you just told was incredible. Going from the gangs of Connecticut to the top of the world. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
And
I don't know if you know Ray Rinaldi, but he's
I
older,
probably do
older
by
guy
face.
that's done a lot. So
That's awesome. Well, I need to know him. Maybe we could take a crew up there and have a nice little duel meet.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And Christy's Corner could cover that. So it'd be awesome.
that'd be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be
Nice.
very nice. So, and the thing is, I mean, obviously here on Christy's Corner, we always have very deep conversations, go far beyond boxing, but are connected to boxing. Christy, for you, with all the work that you've done and hearing everything that Johnny's done, and when you have that bond, that connection, and you can find other like-minded people to help you move forward, what does that do to know Johnny, to work with Johnny? What can that do for Christy's Champs? What can that do for your mission and your vision when you can collaborate with people that have such a love and a passion for helping others like you do and like Johnny does as well?
Well, my whole thing is, as you know, and you've heard me say over and over, God left me here for a reason. And I believe that my reason is to connect with people like Johnny and to help any way I can. Maybe it's just giving one of those female boxers or male boxers some encouraging words. Maybe they're doubting themselves at that particular moment. And Johnny might say, well, call Christy. And he's absolutely right. I have all of them in my phone. So I do get text messages randomly, and I message them randomly. It just, you know what it does more than anything? It makes me miss my amateur boxing team. And that's of my past life. That is definitely what I miss more than anything, is having my own boxing gym, having my own amateur team. And it's not about the pros, even though I am trying to be a promoter. It's really not about the pros to me. It's about the amateurs and really changing lives. And I do see, as Johnny does, how boxing is a great avenue for these young people to change their life that other people can't see. People outside of boxing just can't understand it. But we, because we have been involved with these kids, we know this is the vehicle, this is the avenue to help these kids and save their lives.
And Christy, I mean, do you feel like, unfortunately, boxing is synonymous with homeless, with underprivileged, with not the greatest household, not the safest household? Do you feel like that's been a parallel in a lot of cases, that people that kind of take to boxing are coming from not the easiest road?
Absolutely. I mean, the kids that already, the parents are very supportive. The parents are there. They're the ones playing, basketball and baseball and football, all these things that cost money. Now all these young teenagers are playing on traveling teams. It is expensive for the parents to keep those kids on the traveling teams. And boxing, your kids, stumbles in the door with not a cent in his pocket, and the coaches, because that's who we are, put them in the ring, or not put them in the ring to compete, but we start training them, putting them in the ring to learn how to box. And they can come to you and say, I don't have any money for dues. What are you gonna tell this kid that's really trying and showing up every day? You're gonna tell him he can't come back to the gym because he doesn't have $50? No. Some people might, but we're not, because we know how important it is that kid's in the gym. And if they're trying and you're giving them support and they're giving it back, absolutely, you want them in there, because you can change their life and you can show them a different avenue. And it doesn't have to be that professional boxing is their future. It's just that they have a future. And through boxing, they can learn discipline, number one, dedication to something. I mean, whether it be boxing or just life. That's what is so important. And again, the average person can't see that, can't understand it. But what we know that we are changing lives, we're saving lives, and really making a difference.
Amen.
And Johnny, to go back to you for this, I mean, you spoke about what you do beyond boxing and getting a master's degree in social work. 32-year veteran, 30-plus year veteran of Connecticut's Department of Children and Families, and specializing in adolescent development, substance abuse, mental health, juvenile justice. Dealing with that and seeing that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly, yearly, how do you continue to be positive and just treat each case individually and let the other case, kind of go when you knock on another door? How do you transition yourself? Because the things that you must see at times, I'm sure, cause you to go right back into your car and have an emotional moment, say a prayer, talk to God, cry, and then you got to go to another house. How do you treat each as an individual moment and say, okay, if this person doesn't want to be helped or this family's like this, there's still a chance I can help somebody else?
Again, my parents always raised me to treat people with respect and dignity no matter what. And I think my mom and my dad really had a sense of profound empathy. And people have said that about me, and I cherish empathy and having a high level of empathy. I think what has helped me stay in a career for 30 plus years, where most people can't make it through 2 years, is a big part of that, my natural makeup. So, I'm not so sure, but what has helped me greatly is, after let's say, being a young investigator on the streets, having to do something, the worst thing in the world, no matter how warranted it is, remove a child from a parent, and do the paperwork and file in court and go through that whole process. It's tough. It's tough stuff. We deal with the things that nobody else wants to deal with and don't need to deal with. We know that, unfortunately, that reality, and we have to navigate the gray area and keep kids safe and try to keep families together. And I think going from a 9 to 5 job or 9 to 7 job and then going right to the gym, Coba, which is my life love, was therapeutic for me. Granted, I would, that would carry over, and we work with DCF kids, we work kids with juvenile justice system, from poverty, all that sort of thing. So it was a similar population. But I always knew being one-on-one with the kids, for me, was the juice. I mean, I love kids. I think they're so incredible. And, it was really therapeutic.
Here for a second. So what we'll do is we will bring Johnny back on here. So Johnny, go ahead. You said it was therapeutic for you, so go from there.
Yes, it was, incredibly therapeutic to be in a job where you unfortunately have to do very tough things. No matter how warranted it is, removing a child from a parent literally is just heartbreaking. And no matter, again, how warranted it is, what the abuse is, sexual abuse, physical abuse, it's just a difficult life thing to do. And, to be able to go into something that I love right after that at 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, I think, was incredibly therapeutic for me. I was able to, I'm able to leave that world and transition into the boxing gym where I'm really what I love doing more than anything. And I think any social worker would say this is certainly not the paperwork and the court work, but is being with people and trying to make a difference. And for me, especially with kids, as far as I'm concerned, kids keep me young. My wife still says I'm still an adolescent, and it's probably true. So, I think that was a big piece of it, that kind of duality that I was able, it was there. It's like therapy for me. Boxing's like therapy. And to be able to pursue that and do social work in a different way, I think is a great savior for me.
Christy, you hear that boxing is like therapy for me. I feel like that very easily speaks to you and your boxing career. So I'd love for you to kind of take that where you'd like to take it.
Absolutely. I mean, boxing is the best therapy for some of us, and it saved my life. It gave me something to look forward to concentrate on. I put all my love and energy and effort into boxing. I often said I was married to boxing, and I literally was. Again, people have no idea how many lives boxing has touched, changed, saved. But it teaches you so much about yourself, about others. Unfortunately, now the part of the business I'm in, I'm learning a lot of stuff about others. And not everybody, walks the walk. Lots of people talk the talk, but very few walk the walk. And it's heartbreaking sometimes because you put your trust and your faith and your belief in other people, and then they just smash your thoughts and your dreams. But again, it is a different road that so many young people can get involved in, can get on that journey and get on that road and really, really make a difference in the choices they make in their life. And that's really what it's all about. It's about the choices we make in our life. And sometimes we make a good choice and sometimes we make a bad choice. And even those kids that are in the boxing gym and in COBA, they might veer off the road just a little bit, make a bad choice, but they know they have COBA. They know they have the boxing gym and the boxing family, and that family is going to receive them again with open arms. And that's just what's so important. I'm getting so jealous, Johnny, that I really need the boxing gym. I really need to stay home. I haven't been home for 16 days, and I'm tired, and I need that gym so I could just go there every day.
I hear you. I can't stress enough too, amateur boxing is such a great vehicle in and of itself to teach life, it's such an analogy for life and to teach life to kids and validate the right points. And absolutely, our kids are human. They're coming from an incredibly, most kids, a deprived environment. There's tons of trauma, grief, loss, that sort of thing. But boxing is just such a natural vehicle to teach that, you hear all the things like, oh, you teach them discipline and they get their anger out and that sort of stuff. But it's so much deeper than that. Like Christy said, and thank you, Christy, our kids see COBA as a family or a second home.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
sometimes a first home as well. I remember when we had to close down for COBA, a kid came to me and said, "Please don't close. I can't be home. Please don't close." Fortunately, Edgar is doing great now. He's on his own. He graduated from the program. He's working, and I've always said to people, funders, the mayor's office, whomever, and I mean this, if a kid stays in boxing, be it my program or anybody else's, he's not going to be using drugs. He's not going to be in jail. She's not going to, she's going to be healthy and moving towards her best self or his best self. And it's the truth. There's just no two ways. Even if one of my kids doesn't, let's say, compete, most of our kids spar. I'd say 30% of our kids also compete. But even so, there's just no way they could do the boxing workout and be around the family and the staff and the team. Who, by the way, I owe so much to the folks in my gym, be it the coaches, be it we have a lot of cool people who are selfless. I mean, most of them are volunteers. You would think I was paying them $1 million.
But
Because
Coach, you don't realize that you are paying him $1 million. You are paying him $1 million because they're getting the exact same thing you are. They're getting that, oh my God. And sometimes I always would say, like for my amateur program, I felt like, well, no, from the outside, people looked like I was there for those kids. No. Those kids kept me alive. Those kids kept me going. Those kids kept me there. They kept me from probably making some really, really bad decisions, which I did at some point make some bad decisions, but they kept me going. They came for me. I wasn't there for them. So you are paying $1 million.
Thank you. So yeah, same. I mean, the kids really define me. And it's interesting too, because even when we were just a little team 35 years ago in literally an 800 square foot room where our ring was probably 6 by 7, we were helping kids. We were making a difference in kids' lives. And, I'm sure Christy and I can both, and you hear the great stories of kids who were, gang involved or coming from a broken home or, everything, massive grief and loss, father killed, uncle killed, drug overdoses, this and that. But even just the boxing alone, when we were just starting out, again, it was such a vehicle to help instill two big things, which I think goes overlooked. One is self-esteem. Whether a kid competes or not, their self-esteem is going to go up. And also humility. And that's a beautiful thing. And I think we see that in amateur boxing as well as professional boxing. Not so much the trash talking to build up build up a fight and build up the purse. But I'm saying most boxers are really salt of the earth, especially and coaches. And it's a beautiful thing. I always say you'll find more love in a boxing gym than any other sport. Because having to get into that ring, as far as I'm concerned, and I've experienced in life, I haven't gone to war, but getting in that ring is the most stressful thing in the world. Whether you're sparring or competing. And if a kid can do that, and be a halfway competent boxer and keep their composure, I think that is like the greatest teacher of life. Now, we in COBA take it to a whole other degree. We're very blessed because we also handle 3 or 4 college teams. Trinity College, University of Hartford. We just started my alma mater back, Central Connecticut State University. And then we're also, you could say, the off-season home of UConn Husky boxing as well. And the beautiful thing there is, and I think we're the only program in the country that has married the two, kind of collegiate boxing with USA boxing. And the beautiful thing is, and I can tell you, 35 years ago, Robbie Ford, Lawrence Thompson, and the kids that first came up didn't see a mile out of a mile radius of the projects and what they saw. Then they started, meeting these kids, by the way, who they were better than, boxing-wise, better than their college teammates, because college is really geared towards novices in the beginning. But then next thing you know, they're going to Penn State University. They're going to Villanova. They're boxing alongside their collegiate teammates at like the Downtown Athletic Club or the New York Athletic Club. And it opened up a whole wide world to them and helped them to realize this is something that they deserve. they entitled to. They need to work for it, but it could make such a huge difference. So we're very blessed in the sense that we literally have 3, 4 college teams in the gym 5 days a week. And our deal is okay, college, Trinity College, Junior Ivy League college, very well endowed college. You are going to tutor our kids. You are going to mentor our kids. You are going to bring our kids on your college campuses so they can see what it's all about and not fear going to college or not think that they're not good enough. And it's a beautiful thing. And in addition to all of that, just to let you know, like Christy said, we do a ton of, so we have girls and boys support groups, life skill groups. Right now, Christy, I pulled off the most amazing thing. I got to tell you, we are very blessed, and we got one of 16 grants from the Cigna Foundation to they called their Healthy Kids Grant to address mental health issues, and we were blessed in getting this. And I literally cleared out our locker rooms, turned them into 2 clinical offices, and brought in a dear friend of mine, Dr. Brett Rayford, who's a certified psychologist. And then I brought in Monica Alvarenga, who is a local LCSW, and set up shop. And we literally basically screen every single one of our kids for anxiety, depression, the gamut. And then we'll provide counseling to our kids on site. If need be, we'll refer them out. But having like Dr. Brett Rayford's like the GOAT. He's the GOAT of child urban psychology, and Monica is absolutely phenomenal. She actually just bought a house in this war zone and converted it for her private practice. So yeah, even me, that's a huge step going up that high. But that's what we do. What by any means necessary, whatever it takes. Our kids start to get interested. They come of age of 16, and they need to interview for jobs and things like that. We'll start a work program. We start a little vocational program during the summer. So again, the COBA is kind of Johnny Coach Callas intertwined, I guess, the social work and the boxing. But I can't say enough about boxing. When I finished my college career, and I was a fortunate kid, I grew up in a middle class neighborhood in Hartford, and I just said this was the most phenomenal experience of my life. This was incredible. I was a real, well, I'll say great college boxer. I'll say great. College boxer. I was blessed. I traveled all over the country. I traveled out of the country on U.S. teams. I went to Russia, Czechoslovakia, Southeast Asia. And, I just said to myself, I got to turn kids on to this. This is incredible. And when I realized that I was going to be, fading out, I wasn't going to go professional, and basically said, okay, I'm coaching. And I actually was blessed by my coach, Billy Taylor, who asked me to take the team over. He was then 89 years old. This guy was a legend, a Hartford legend, phys ed teacher for like 30 years in the Hartford public school system. And in addition to that, he was also a professional referee. So it's kind of neat, you look back and say, oh, wow, see, that's interesting. I'm a professional referee, and, I kind of teach as well, being a social worker. But when I transitioned at that point in my amateur boxing career, I made the move into starting COBA.
And so many things coming, this morning in Christy's Corner from Johnny Callas, our special guest, and of course, Christy Martin and Pat Orr, all of this connecting to the desire to help other people, the desire to be there for somebody else, the want to see someone excel and grow and be okay and smile and go back to a home that they're not afraid to go back to. And Johnny, like you talked about not giving millions of dollars out to and this and that, and Christy's first response was, yes, you are, because of what you're doing and because of how you're doing it. Mental health is so important. And when we look at anxiety, depression, so many things have happened in today's culture, social media, the fact that you can bully 24/7, then you bring in COVID and not being able to see people smile, being in your house and, feeling trapped. There's people that were in their houses that OD'd during COVID because they were by themselves and they didn't have anybody there. There's people that thrive on social interaction and they didn't have that. It almost felt like COVID was a social experiment to eradicate and get rid of some people. You know, that's what it genuinely felt like. It was like we went into our house and we came out and the world felt different and it looked different and it was scarier. So, you know, Christy, Pat, I want you to weigh in on this as well. And Christy, I'll start with you. The mental health side, just what you could say about the importance of taking care of that anxiety, depression, mental health, and having an avenue where, you know, somebody can seek help. Because what people don't understand is they say, well, if you want help, just come out and say you want it. Just come tell us. And a lot of people that suffer from depression, anxiety, and mental health issues, they don't come out and say, I need the help. That's part of the problem, is they stay quiet. So just to go a little bit further on that.
Absolutely. I think so many of us, especially probably over 40, for sure 50, you know, you're raised with, if there's a mental health issue, you have an issue, you keep it to yourself, you keep it quiet, you don't reach out for help, you don't go see a counselor, you don't go see a therapist. It's like a stigma to do that. Like you're something's wrong with you. Well, yeah, something is wrong. But so if you have a sore throat, something's wrong with you. You go to the doctor. But you know, it's not okay to be a little, to be depressed, to have anxiety, to just not be able to deal with whatever's happening in your life at that time. And domestic violence is often included in that, to reach out for help. So this programs like Johnny has is like over the top, because you know what? Some of these kids may not even realize or understand that what's wrong with them, why maybe they feel so much anger, is really about, maybe it's the depression, it's anxiety, it's something going on in their home, in their life somewhere that's making them feel like this. Sitting down with a counselor, a therapist, they can explain to them, it's normal to feel this way, and let's do some work, and we'll help you get over this. We'll help you get past it, learn how to deal with it. Awesome. I mean, if we just had more programs, if we're young kids could feel like it's okay. I mean, the suicide rate in as low as elementary. I mean, when I hear something that an elementary student committed suicide, I'm like, my first thought is, how do they even know? How do they even know how to kill themselves? I mean, how do they even know about that? Do they even understand that taking the pills, pulling the trigger, whatever it is, do they realize that they're gone forever? I mean, they're so young. Do they even know? So what you're doing, Johnny, is over the top important, and you make me jealous. Well, I want this program.
Well, what we're doing, and it takes a family, it takes a team, and there's no question about it. I could have brought all my young ladies down and the couple boys that we brought along because we had to, because girls rule. My girls know, and they hear it from me on a weekly basis. Remember, you are the superior side of the species. You are wired better. You are the cornerstone of civility and society and the family. You are superior. But we can't do it. We can't do it alone. And there's a million other tournaments we could have went to, and maybe some of them were hosted or guest hosted by somebody in boxing. But Christy, nobody was as down home and humble and sweet and open to the girls and to the guys. It was fantastic. And you say you adopted us. Well, we fell in love with you, and we're so honored to be with you and fighting the good fight against the domestic violence for LGBTQ plus rights and support and all of the social issues. It was a really cool thing. Ring Magazine in 1995 sent up a freelance reporter and spent 2 weeks with us. And this is when the program, we were only 5 years into the program, and the guy totally got it. Brian Ether was the journalist's name. And he coined a phrase, and as we all know, typically, especially back then, Ring Magazine did not do a lot on amateur boxing. This was like a centerfold feature, which was amazing. And he coined the phrase, a boxing club where life is the main event. and that's what we go by, and that's truly what we're about. And it takes as they say, right? It takes a village. Well, it does. And Christy, you're incredible. So we are so lucky to be a part of that. And you know what? We'd be remiss. Connecticut Boxing Hall of Fame Gala, which is Saturday, November 18th. The Hall of Fame wanted to do an award where it actually recognized people for their courage, not even necessarily in boxing, but like during COVID, the gentleman who ran the food share programs, because it was such, obviously it was such a crisis getting food in Hartford. It is a crisis anyways for about 40% of the population. But because of COVID was such a huge issue, and he did such a phenomenal job with the other agencies that we presented him with a new award called the Willie Pep Courage Award. So this time around, everybody knows that Christy has given us the honor, Charter Oak Boxing Academy, of doing her tournament. And we're doing it up here in the Hartford area. They knew she was coming up. They knew how supportive she was to us. And above all, they know what a champion she is in the ring, but even more so a champion out of the ring with her whole story. So the board voted to naturally give and honor Christy with the Willie Pep Courage Award this year, which I'm proud to say we will be presenting to her at the Mohegan Sun at our gala event. And I got to tell you, you're really going to like it because we do a great job. It's like the Oscars of Connecticut boxing.
I'm sure it's going to be awesome. It's a great privilege. And, I'm like a kind of historian. And to get the Willie Pep Award is awesome. And if you think about it, so now people that know my career, they know that I was kind of like face first. You hit me once, you hit me 3 times, I'm going to hit you once, it's going to hurt. Willie Pep was kind of the opposite. He was that awesome, perfect, great boxer that actually won a round without throwing a punch, even though I think he threw a couple jabs. But, we're such extreme opposites of boxing, but yet to get this award, because he was a legend, obviously. He is a legend, Hall of Famer. I mean, great boxer. So I'm so honored and feel very privileged to be able to make the journey up there and receive this award at the Mohegan Sun.
Well, you are that award, Christy, and that's why everybody was just like, "Oh, hands down, let's not even discuss it." And what people forget, and by the way, you are so that award. It could be named after you and not Willie, but Willie, had a plane crash halfway, 3/4 of the way through his career, and they said he'd never box again. Then he came back, and I think he boxed another 70 fights. And pretty well. I think we all know he had over 225, 30 fights. The guys back then were Iron Men, the true Iron Men of the sport. But so that's why we came with the Courage Award. He came back from that and obviously had a career, which is a beautiful thing. And the award is incredibly fitting for you, Christy, even more fitting.
I'm very excited. We're going to have a great time, and it's
Yes.
such an honor. Yeah, absolutely.
Before we
Will my girls be there? Will my girls be there? I mean, that's.
I'm gonna have some of your girls there. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I tell you, the Mohegan Sun, the Hall of Fame, is always very generous to us. So for the last 7 or so years, they'll provide tickets to us, and so we'll typically have a few tables of our kids there to experience that. So it's which is a really cool and beautiful thing. Last year, your favorite Janiyah Lumpkin, our young lady, actually got the Connecticut Boxing Hall of Fame Amateur Boxer of the Year award, which was awesome. And of course, she's an exceptional young lady who probably gave the best speech of anybody, and she's only 17 years old. But just a quick update, because Christy needs to hear this. Jada Wyatt, your girl there, is at University of Hartford, is thriving, is in her 2nd year. Of course, she lost the first year at your tournament and then boxed the same girl, and you remember she just was not going to lose. She's not going to
right,
lose.
absolutely.
But more importantly, she's doing very, very well. Jasmine Moore, oh, and she's on the U of H boxing team. Jasmine Moore, same. Pretty much. Now, Jada got a full ride scholarship as a Hartford Scholar, and that's what it's all about. Jasmine got about a half a scholarship and is there and thriving sophomore year, and actually is boxing very successfully for University of Hartford. She just boxed about at Penn State against a really good amateur female, and it was a masterful performance. I got to tell you, she schooled a very difficult girl from a great school. And last but never least, Janaya transitioned out of amateur boxing and is at UConn and she's pre-med. She, as you know, wants to, that's her true passion is medicine and becoming a doctor. And I told her, hurry up and get your degree because my guy just retired. And believe me, I need a lot of help. I need a new doctor. And I would trust her implicitly. This girl had ice running through her veins. At 16 and with only 20 fights, she finished second and third in the United States.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
they're
And
all
the
doing
truth
great.
is, we have to look back and think, would any of these three females been in college without boxing? Would they
Yeah.
have chosen this path? Would they understand the dedication, the discipline, the desire that they have to succeed in life? And they're doing it. And I'm really, really proud and happy for them.
Yeah, they're doing great. And I know they always want you to know that. That's why I keep
Awesome.
it posted.
So
Awesome.
before we jump into rapid fire, Pat, I did want to go to you on the mental health side of things and, domestic violence, just abuse in general. You were talking about the city of Syracuse and, just things that we can do better and how we can help. And I'd love to get your thoughts because as we are here in the central and upstate New York community, I don't think it's discussed enough, the issues that we have here in this. And there's issues in every single community, but there's a lot of things that happen in central and upstate New York. There's people that don't go to the mall anymore. Destiny USA expanded and continued to grow. And the more they grew, the less people have gone that used to go to Carousel Mall because they don't feel safe, because of gangs, because of shootings and stabbings that happen at 2:00 in the afternoon inside the mall or around the mall. So I'd love to get your thoughts, Pat, as you and I have built businesses in this community with the hope of helping people. So I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'll start with the mall. Last time I was at the mall, I came out of a dressing room and there was nothing but police all over the place. There was a shooting in the mall. So I haven't been back since. I'll go to Dick's down on the boulevard instead of the mall. It's unfortunate to have such a nice mall that is just known for violence. I think Julie Boeheim was attacked at a mall.
Yeah.
And stuff. So, I mean, to think that in broad daylight, stuff happens like that is kind of scary. But as far as like the mental health thing, I think it's more and more prevalent in young kids now. The pressures of growing up are different than the pressures when we grew up. The outside influence is so powerful in the younger generation. The pressure and stuff, and I think that, like the mental health, all of us have mental health requirements, I say, like going to Christy's events is my mental health. It gets me out of town, away from the restaurant, and able to clear my mind and just refresh. The pressures that we have every day are just beyond what you really want to be capable of handling, but you have to. And mental health is so important. You have to recharge. You have to take a break. You have to rest. You have to do something you love to just recharge you to be able to go on. When I was growing up, I never thought I'd be a business owner. I thought I'd be a photographer all my life, but I didn't look at it as a business because I loved it. Finding something that you love is, you don't work as hard. You may not work a day in your life if you pick the right thing, but what you're doing, Johnny, is incredible. Those kids would not have had the respect, the discipline and the drive without your, your help. It's you put good people around kids that need help, and you got a better chance of a higher percentage of them being successful. I think the biggest lack in our world right now is respect. People don't respect like successful people. They're more jealous of them than they do respect what they've done. Being jealous of people that are successful is a little crazy to me, because you should admire them and follow what they do. And how did they get successful? Could I do that too? We all have passions to do something, and to have the drive and the mental capacity to do it, you just got to stay brain healthy. You gotta take care of yourself, and kind of without people knowing it, I guess, because you just got to do what you have to do to keep yourself able to go and to drive and to keep your employees happy, and to make them feel worthy of what they do, and to be respected. And I think that you starting with the mental health right there, and having a therapist right there that the kids can talk to, that is like 1,000% great, because it teaches them that it's okay. It's okay to have down days and talk to people and seek help. And I just think it's incredible. It's the first I've really heard your story, and I'm just blown away by it. Thank you for all you do for the kids, because the kids are the ones that need the help.
Thank you, Pat, so much. Again, I'm so flattered and so appreciate that. And all three of you are so correct about the whole mental health piece with our kids. Even prior to COVID, and I can tell you this from my other career, we're seeing kids actually, going into hospitals for wanting to hurt themselves or hurt other people, but mostly themselves, for being suicidal. We're talking 8 years old, 9 years old, latency age kids, grammar school age kids. And during COVID, that just quadrupled for all kids. So much so it was a real crisis in Connecticut. There were not enough emergency room or psychiatric children's beds at various facilities. And let me tell you, Connecticut probably has the more resources than any other state in the country besides California. And literally, kids could not get rooms. They were stacked up in emergency rooms for weeks at a time, and it became a crisis. And the governor and all the agencies had to get together and figure it out and to meet our kids' needs. But you're so right. We're very much in a brown and black community. And there's dealing with the stigma and whatnot, and everything that folks put on mental health. And that's one of the things we try to do. We actually have seminars where we bring the parents and the kids on basically all the fundamental issues to try to destigmify it, make it as more normal. And like I said, we do our individual counseling, but we also do our groups with kids. And I have to say one last thing, because they're so fabulous, is another big thing we've done for years is adventure-based learning. Now, I consider boxing, amateur boxing, 5 days of therapy with a major impactful event if the kids box, right? But what we also have done since day one, but even more so over the last 10 years, is we'll send our kids out into the wilderness with, not myself, thank God, but with trained professionals, clinicians, who, again, use that vehicle to teach life, address mental health issues and whatnot. So for the last 7 years, every single year, we legitimately take like 30 of our kids, 8 to 18 years old, rock climbing. I mean, real rock climbing, helmets, ropes, belaying, and this and that up a 100-foot cliff, and we do a team building family day every summer to kick off the summer. And then we send 2 groups or 3 groups of our kids out on an Appalachian Trail expedition for like 4 days. And I got to tell you, it's neat because inner city kids are pretty resourceful and are pretty tough, and they can work it and manage the concrete jungle. But you put them out in the wilderness, it's a different story. So they can really learn even more about themselves and more about each other and bond. So that's a neat thing. The program that we work with is called Outside Perspectives, and they are absolutely wonderful. It's run by strictly women. So no doubt that they're fantastic, and yeah, that's another thing that we do as well. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. It's interesting because all of our girls that were just mentioned, Janaya, Jada, Naomi, actually, the whole crew that came out of our Girl Rise program did such a phenomenal job that a national organization, Courageous Girls, recruited them and scholarshiped them to do like a 6-day adventure in the Delaware Gap. And they killed it. They absolutely killed it. And, stuff like that, well, you're not going to catch Coach climbing up the side of a mountain. I appreciate what it can do for a kid. So that's another cool thing that we do. We incorporate into our into COBA.
Well, with that being said, we only have a few minutes, so we can't go our normal back and forth. But Johnny, you've been great about answering our questions and speaking today on so many beautiful things that you're working to do with your team in the community. And so you get to put us all on the hot seat. You get to put Pat on the hot seat first. You can ask her anything you want.
Oh. Best photo you've ever taken, Pat, and why?
I'd have to say Tyson Holyfield when Holyfield knocked Tyson down at the MGM Grand. Probably my biggest selling picture I've ever taken because most photographers on the ring were on the side, so they didn't get the angle that I got. And I was on the scaffolding up at the very farthest point away from the ring with all the photographers eating popcorn and drinking beer, and my shutter's going off, and I'm saying, oh, Tyson's going down, and beer and popcorn was flying, and they all missed it, and I got it. So I'd have to say that was probably the most exciting match that I was at as far as what happened. I mean, Tyson went down. Holyfield, it was a great fight, and it was a great picture, and it was a moment in boxing that I'll never forget. So I'd have to say that. But I do want to ask you one question. Off all the rest of the topic, I'm a foodie. I'm coming to Connecticut on the 18th. And in Mystic, Connecticut, where would you go eat?
Oh, that's a good question. See, I'm a Hartford boy. So we're about 45 minutes to an hour away from Mystic. So if you were in Hartford, I would tell you the South End used to be the Italian section of Hartford, kind of our little Italy, and had some phenomenal Italian restaurants, mainly one called Carbone's. But I can tell you this, you're going to be at the Mohegan Sun, and they have some extraordinary restaurants that are definitely too expensive for this social worker coach. But there's some great restaurants there that we can turn you on to as well.
They're probably too expensive for me, too. I'd probably go to Carbone's.
All right. Johnny, what's your question for Christy?
Okay, Christy, what bout did you have to dig down the most in to then come back and get the Duke, get the victory, and how does that translate to something in your life?
Well, I think the bout, which is probably a surprise maybe that I would say this, but the Gogarty fight, I had to dig down because, Gogarty was tough as hell, and the bout was somewhat one-sided, but there was a lot of pressure. I wanted to make a great statement. I was trying to put as much into it as I could possibly dig down deep to find. I knocked her down early. She got up. She kept fighting and fighting hard. So that bout was probably the one that I dug down deep, not just to win the fight, but to make a statement. Mm-hmm. And why? Because I wanted to show Don King I could do this and show the boxing fans that I deserved the opportunity that DK had given me. to be on that huge undercard with Mike Tyson.
Awesome.
I like that. All right, Johnny, you got one for me?
Yep, absolutely. As a broadcaster, who it's twofold. Who is somebody you tailor yourself after or admire? And what sport is it that you are most passionate about?
Well, the second question is tough, but I would say I don't. I would say, in all honesty, I don't. I don't. I mean, there's people that I think have been great. Stuart Scott, Bob Costas. There's people that I enjoy listening to, but I don't mirror anybody. I mirror Dan Tortora. I mean, that's
Nice.
my goal every day is to be better than I was yesterday, and it's funny because in the media there's cutthroat and people are mean and evil in a lot of ways, and so they'll say, oh, somebody said something about you on their show, do you have a response? And I said no. They're like, did you hear it? And I said no. And they said, why? I said, because I'm working. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't believe that when you're trying to make the world a better place, you don't really have time to stop and jump into drama and involve yourself in it, because you have a choice. You can either live in the drama or you can try and help the world, and you can't do both. So I would say I'm always trying to beat me, which is fun. Every day I wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and I say, I got you today. So I think that's the fun part of it. But I would say my favorite sport to cover, every sport has such a different angle. I don't even want to say, I don't even know if that's right, like the word, but I don't know, like I'm so passionate about so many different things. Like I grew up playing basketball and I loved watching football, but then I went to the ring in the International Boxing Hall of Fame weekend at Turning Stone, and that felt like I was in one of like the biggest arenas ever. Like I felt like I honestly called my mom and I said I never thought that I would ever be here. I never thought
Mm.
I'd be ringside at anything. I always thought when I saw it on TV that like the people that were there were so big and so important. And I kind of sat there last year like, what am I doing here type of thing. But so I would say that brings its own angle to it. Going to the NCAA tournament is a different world. Going to the World Series with my dad to see my Diamondbacks this year, I don't have words for, and people keep asking me, and I just don't have, and I don't have words. It was that beautiful. And
Yeah.
then the NBA is fun, and Summer League is fun, and going to a lacrosse game and supporting my little sister Franny. I mean, she's my she's my cousin by blood, but we're literal siblings, and I love her to pieces, and she's fighting to get back and play again. And so the moment she gets to play again, I'm going to want to go see her, and she made me fall in love with lacrosse even more. So I don't know if I can pick one, but I definitely would try anything. Like I would try any sport, and it's a lot of fun for me. Would I spar with Christy? Absolutely not. But I would definitely, you can't
Street that.
you can't. This is the thing is you don't spar with the people that you want to win all the time. So I'll leave the ring to Christy. I'll take the basketball, and I trust myself on the court. But I'll play Christy and horse. We could do that for sure.
Well, it's probably an unfair question because clearly, I mean, all this, it's like asking somebody or comparing two musicians or artists, right? It's so subjective and it's an art. So to ask you something you're so passionate about and that gives you so much in unique ways, it's probably an unfair question on my part. So I think I hit you below the belt with that one.
I thought it was good.
No, it's all good because I mean high school students do it to me all the time. I'll be interviewing the volleyball team and they'll go, "What's your favorite sport to cover?" Dan, huh? And they'll just sit there and they'll wait. And I mean and then the football team does it, and then the bowling team does it, and the crew, and then lacrosse, and I'm like, or I'll be sitting with West Jenny and they're like, "Do you like us more than Beeville? Go ahead, say it." Do you? I mean, so I love
Dan,
all.
you have to be like DK and fly all the flags from all the countries.
There you go. There you go.
And if he's in Puerto Rico, it's Viva Puerto Rico. If you're in Mexico, it's Viva Mexico. It just
This is how
whoever
I
you're
look
with,
at it.
that's your favorite.
I look at it like I have to be the United Nations when it comes to that stuff. It's like I support, and I do. I love all the kids in our community, and they know that. So I know we have fun and we play with it, but at the end of the day, I want to see every single man and woman in our community succeed. So with that being said, Christy Salters Martin, as well as Pat Orr and Johnny Callas, joining us here in this edition of Christy's Corner. I don't know how to say goodbye. I say that every time. I only know how to say see you later, but Christy, can't wait to have you back. I hope you get to sleep in your own bed soon. Shout out to Champ. And Pat, thank you for all you do in the community. You and I owe each other a visit, and I'm hungry. And then Johnny, PB&J's Lunchbox, 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool. Go there. And Johnny, I honestly cannot wait to have you back on the show. It has been an absolute privilege and an honor. And I'm realizing today I should have just made the entire show Christy's Corner, because everything else I have coming up that I'm so excited to share is great, but I don't genuinely want to let you go, because I'm very moved by you today. And I love your energy, and I will tell you this. I hope the next time we talk, or sometime very soon, I get to shake your hand in person, because that would be an honor for me.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much. You're a very special person. Very, very special person. And I'm a Greek, so we're very passionate, so it'll be a hug too.
Well, that's how I am. That's what I tell people all the time. I was like, I hug. I don't just, I mean, if you're going to come and see somebody, you show them love. So that's Italian and Hispanic on my side. So
there you go. We're big huggers at Coba.
Well, I look forward to everything that is to come from Coba and from everything you do, as well as Christy. And with Pat, we can build our community together, make it better together. And today, I know that we help somebody watching and listening somewhere. So Pat, Christy, Johnny, thank you so much. Be safe, and I'll talk with you soon.
Thank you.
Real quick, Dan, I got to give a shout out to my mom and dad that are hopefully listening today. My mom's having a surgery in a couple hours, so love you. Lots of prayers, and I'll see you soon.
All right.
Love you, Mom.
Big shout out to Mom, to Joyce. We love that you listen. We love that you're always, here with us in spirit, and here with us very, very much so, listening and watching all the time. And she always sends sweet messages throughout the year. So God bless you, Joyce. We're praying for you, and to your parents, Christy. They raised a great one. So big shout out to Mom and Dad, and God loves you, and you'll be well. So we'll be praying for you, hoping for you, but we already know that in their ring of life, they're champions as well. Thanks, Christy.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Pat. Take care.
Bye-bye.
So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called that it's been over the years. Those of you that don't know Maine-Endwell, well, you're going to get to know them here this morning as we have an opportunity to welcome Matt to the broadcast. Always love talking to Matt Gallagher, and can't thank him enough for everything that he's done. He's been honored by so many, and he's been honored by the NFL recently here as well. Just an incredible coach, an incredible person to have in our community. We're very spoiled to have Matt Gallagher of Maine-Endwell. So looking forward to getting him on the broadcast here, and to having him just a few minutes behind here as we were finishing up Christy's Corner. So we look forward to the opportunity of sharing some time with Mr. Gallagher today, the Maine-Endwell Spartans head football coach, who is here with me picture in picture. And always love having Matt on the show. I've been running around like very blessed to be busy. I'm not going to ever complain about being busy, but it makes you stop and think and say, I haven't had one of my friends here on the show, and I appreciate Matt well beyond football. We've had a lot of awesome conversations on and off the air, and heartfelt conversations. So Matt Gallagher back here with us. He's the coach that you know for just helping kids and loving up the kids and coaching well, and he also wins. But I feel like, going off of what we've been talking about here today, it's like, I don't know him for his wins. I know him for the person he is and for the culture and environment he creates, and he just so happens to win a lot with that culture. So Matt, I know that you would say the same thing, that you care more about taking care of the kids than just simply coaching. So welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. How are you doing?
Oh, and what did you say? I'm sorry here. We had your audio down for a second.
Oh, I said, how you doing?
Doing very
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Doing very well. Well, you and I haven't spoken in a minute here. And the NFL honored you last year after your incredible season. For reflecting on that, hindsight 2020, what do you remember about the moment, and what does it mean to you to, I mean, I was watching the NFL Network, and I'm seeing Matt Gallagher. I'm seeing one of my friends just standing there with the NFL honoring you during their season, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, but um, I really, like the fact that Maine-Endwell and the entire community and the entire coaching staff and of course the players, um, you know, maybe shed some light on exactly what we do here. Everything about Maine-Endwell is special, and I always tell people, it's hard to describe it, so it's kind of like you have to live it.
Yeah.
So we really feel fortunate to be a part of it. We're just going to keep doing what we can to, make it Maine-Endwell great.
And you've always spoken about how Maine-Endwell is just different, and like you said, it's just special. There's just something about it.
We're just going to keep.
How would you describe it to someone who's never been to Maine-Endwell, never experienced not just the football program but the school itself? What would be an adequate way of describing Maine-Endwell?
I'll do my best, but and I actually say this a lot, that it's so tough to try to explain it. And you can talk it up as much as you possibly can, but you truly don't get the full experience unless you actually live it day in and day out. And um, you know, it's a way of life, and I continually say that. Um, and it's a great way to live. It's pretty special when you can go to school every day and feel that that you're surrounded by people that care, that's doing what right for kids all of the time. Then you walk out to a youth practice and you see community members doing the same thing, and coaching kids up and being part of the PTA and being part of the music program and just everything, right? So it's not just athletic, it's just not just football, it's everything, and we're a small part of it, that like I said, we just try to make things special here, and just try to follow the lead of everybody. The leadership here is also special, and I think that's lots of times it starts from the top down.
Yeah, and when you talk about that leadership, who are some of those leaders that you feel like, just bring that different type of energy that make it so special at Maine-Endwell? Who are some of those people that you just really appreciate being on the same team with?
Obviously, our board has been great and supportive throughout. And then of course our superintendent, Mr. Van Fossen, has just been great. He's been around for 15 years. So somebody I know pretty well, our assistant superintendent, who is my wife, Julie. She has done amazing things for this school. And then Jeff Lamro is also assistant superintendent, and then all the administrators, high school principal, we have a new principal last year. We have a new AD last year, and they kind of picked up where the others have left off. And not only that, but they've also added a nice little flair to what they do. Mark Wilson, our principal, and then Kevin Hoare is our new athletic director. So they had some great people to follow, but they have definitely added a nice little flair that we've done some great things since they've been aboard. So. It's just, and then all the faculty, and once again, everything is designed to be what's great for kids. And when you do that, you really can't be wrong.
Yeah. And you talk about helping kids and building up this program. We're used to seeing success with Maine-Endwell. You've built a perennial contender in sectionals and a perennial contender as you move forward from sectionals and beyond that towards states. And we know that, this season, the team has won every game that you've had in front of you. Shenango Valley, Owego Free Academy, Corning Painted Post, Union Endicott, Windsor Central, Shenango Forks, Johnson City, as well as Norwich a couple times here. You have Owego Free Academy coming up on November 10th, so in just a few days. The first time you faced against them this season, faced off against them, was September 16th, defeated them 69-0. you got them again. Just what you could say about, this matchup coming up and the season, the undefeated season that you've had up to this point.
Well, they have a brand new coach, and this coach is following somebody that did a fantastic job for 30 years over there at Owego. So it's tough to follow something like that. So early on in the year, they had to do their thing and they had to kind of make adjustments. And, we got them at the right time, maybe, I guess, if you want to say that. But so we know that we're going to see a different team this Saturday. We know we're going to see somebody that, a team that kind of has now grasped what these coaches are trying to give them. Based on what we saw last week in their game, we know that, Saturday's going to be a battle. Of course, when you beat somebody like that, the one thing you want to make sure you don't do is look past them, and that's one thing we're definitely not going to do. We just prepare to get better every day, and then kind of let things take care of themselves on the weekend. And that's what we plan on doing on Saturday as well.
Yeah, and like you said, obviously that game that you had, not resting on that game, but being prepared for this one. You see undefeated from the outside looking in, but people don't see what's happening on the inside, how this team is growing and advancing. You're always looking on where you can get better. That's how championship teams are made, and that's how championship culture sustains itself, is that you don't just say, well, we won, thank God we won, we got out of that one alive. It's when you win, when you lose, whenever something's going on, to really sit down and find those pieces where you can get a little bit better, things to take in, things to let go of, and whatnot. When you win, I think it's hard sometimes to get a team to focus and say, here are the things we need to work on because we just won 50-0 or 60-0. How have you navigated this season with your team and gotten them to hone in on some things and say, yes, we're undefeated, but we have to clean up these things as we move forward?
Well, they do that themselves, to be honest with you. This group can do something pretty special that not many people have done before. So that in itself. But the fact that they love playing together. They're so tight. They're close. They do things off the field together, and they love playing football. They love the game. So each week it's something different that they can go out there and do and get better at. So when you love the game that much, and they put, I know everyone works hard, but when you put that much work in, and when you put that much work in together in the off season, they're not going to let anything derail, what they want to accomplish. So that's why each practice, we look to just to get better, and they've really done that. They don't look past anybody. They understand what's at stake and what each week can kind of bring us. Yeah. And right now it's going like we planned. So let's just hope that happens 4 more times.
Yeah, and like we're seeing another successful season with you, Matt. Matt, final note, because I know you got to get hopping. What has been your favorite part of this individual journey? Each journey is its own. Each season is a clean slate. What have you enjoyed the most about this team this season?
This team, like I mentioned before, how close they are, and the fact that they love to play, and you can tell, each week it's fun to watch them, and sometimes you get caught up as a coach that you don't get a chance to just watch them play because you're so busy doing other things. So, but that at times I actually just catch myself watching them play, and which isn't great, but because there's a lot of other things that I probably should be doing. But when they're having that much fun out there, and they're being that successful, it's not a bad thing, I guess, to every now and then to kind of just take a step back and just watch them do their work. So, the entire coaching staff, we feel the same way. And that's another special thing, that the connection between the whole staff and all of our players as well.
Yeah, and that connection, that passion, that appreciation, I love every single year getting to talk with you about it. So you and I will be talking a lot more, and hopefully 4 more times, like you said, at least.
Yes.
So Matt, for this upcoming game on the 10th, God bless with everything with that and with your team. Thank you for everything that you continue to do, and thank you for always giving me a few minutes. For anybody that doesn't know Matt, he is an even better person than he is a coach, in my opinion. So thank you for the person that you are, and thanks for taking care and for loving up these kids the way you do.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks for having me on.
And I'll talk with you soon.
All right, thanks, man. Bye.
Take care. That coming from Matt Gallagher one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Matt hanging out with us here on the broadcast, and before that, Christy's Corner with a very heartfelt discussion on helping kids, helping people that have anxiety and depression and mental health, which it seems like almost every kid has something going on with them through COVID and everything that's been going on in social media and the ability to continue to bully people far past the school hours. So, Christy's Corner once again going very deep into the things that matter and into the heart of very important discussions. So thank you to Johnny Callas, thank you to Christy Salters-Martin and Pat Orr, and of course another person taking care of kids and caring and coaching and being there and building a lot of success and just doing a tremendous job, Matt Gallagher. And he makes it so much fun, for me, because you like to support the good ones, and he's a great one. So big time shout out to Matt Gallagher and the Maine-Endwell Spartans as they get set to spar against Owego Free Academy for the second time this season, but this time in the postseason, coming up on November 10th, which is this Friday. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When I come back, I will be unveiling for the first time ever my conversations one-on-one with Syracuse Orange men's basketball following the official beginning of the Adrian Autry era. So now that Adrian has officially coached his first game, I have my Q&A with the new Syracuse Orange men's basketball head coach Adrian Autry, as well as assistant coach and alum of the program Alan Griffin, and you'll hear from JJ Starling on the broadcast, Justin Taylor, and for the first time ever, Naheem McLeod, the 7'4" center who transferred from Florida State. He'll be on Wake Up Call for the first time, and he scored the first basket in the Adrian Autry era on a hook shot just 10 seconds into the game against New Hampshire. All of that's coming up right after this, where sports meets life. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and having some fun, as always, on the broadcast with some fantastic guests that we have had, and you're with us worldwide on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So thank you so much for tuning into the show. However you're connecting with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It is now time to hear from the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team, and we're going to start things off with Adrian Autry on his first game and first victory as the head coach of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team. And this is what Adrian had to say about celebrating the moment with Brendan Strawn, Alan Griffin, and Jerry McNamara.
Adrian, to have this, not only this moment for you, but to have it with Jerry and Ellen by your side, as well as Brendan coming in, just what that staff means to you to celebrate this moment together.
That's like family. We've been together for a long time, and I think they all feel a part of it. I know they feel a big part of it. That's how our program is. That's how we coach. So I'm sure they're excited as I am.
Are you going to celebrate your first one?
And so that coming from Adrian Autry, and from that conversation to Alan Griffin, who also is an alum of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball program and has been coaching with Adrian when Adrian was the associate head coach under Jim Boeheim, Alan Griffin an assistant coach, and now Alan Griffin continuing to be an assistant coach. And remember, Alan broke this story on Wake Up Call live that him and Jerry were in fact coming back. So to celebrate this moment all together, just what that means and so much more, here's my conversation with Alan Griffin.
Also had this first win in the Adrian Autry era. I asked him about what it meant to be with you and Jerry and Brendan for this, and just what it means to you to be a part of it.
Oh no, it's unbelievable. It's fulfillment, especially in this profession when one of your friends get his first win like this. It's a great thing to be a part of, but obviously we can't forget about the legend that, it's a little bittersweet, okay? Again, it's always going to be bittersweet, but because, again, we all got the utmost respect for Coach, at the end of the day. But, obviously with the new era here and with Adrian, we're all happy for him.
What's different? Does anything feel different?
You know what? Yeah, it's different. Obviously style of play is different, on both ends of the court. And it's just, it's more of a relaxed atmosphere almost for us, so to speak, in terms of just being able, when Coach coached, it was Coach coaching.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell him nothing that he ain't already heard. So, you know what I mean? So he coached the games a lot more than, Adrian always asking our opinion, and you feeling a part of it in that, respect.
And in that respect, the fact that when he gets up and kind of coaches and says different things, you jump off the bench, Jerry will jump off the bench, Brendan. I mean, you look like there's more openness to be vocal on your part. Do you feel that?
Yeah, we were all vocal. Now, the one thing Coach never told us was to be quiet, you know what I mean? But we were vocal to a certain degree, and I think we did a lot of it, guys coming out of timeouts, trying to get our point across. So, now it's a little bit different in that respect, but again, all in all, it's a great time to be here.
Naheem McLeod scores the first points in the Autry era, 7'4" center. You've had the bigs over the years here. Just what it means to have a guy like Naheem on the team.
Good. We got to get him playing a little bit more mobile, get us, get his motor going a little bit more. I don't know how you do that, but we just got to find a way to kind of get him moving a lot more fluid. He moved a lot better at Florida State, so that's the thing that we're trying to get him to get there and move the way he did back at Florida State.
How do you assess what that difference would be in trying to get him to be more fluid in his movement?
It's just him rolling off ball screens quicker, just him just getting down the court faster, just stuff like that.
Peter Carey, your thoughts on how he's playing?
Good. I mean, he gave us great minutes, played about 6-7 minutes. I mean, he's been dealing with an ankle injury. He was out for a couple for a couple practices, so he's just getting back, and he did good. Every minute Peter's on the floor is positivity. It's positive for us.
Most important question, are you ready to give my Jaguars some respect?
Never.
So he still at 6-2, he still can't do it. I love you, Griff. I really do. He knows that I love him. But I mean, still, to this day, he just can't say it. He can't give some respect where respect, I believe, has already been earned. But that's all right, Griff. That's okay. Griff's a Giants fan, and I don't think I've said anything bad to him about the Giants. So I don't know where it came from, but I'm like Steve Urkel. I'm trying to wear him down. I really am. So, but continuing on the conversation here of my interviews with the Syracuse Orange, and that's why you see this Syracuse kind of heartbeat right now next to me. The next one up in my conversation with the Syracuse Orange here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora that you're listening and watching on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Next up is going to be the first person that scored a bucket in the Adrian Autry era. That is Naheem McLeod, the 7'4" center who transferred from Florida State. It's the first time he's ever been on the show, and having the opportunity to speak with him coming off of his hook shot that officially started the Adrian Autry era scoring. Here's Naheem McLeod on Wake Up Call.
Well, you scored the first points in the Adrian Autry era, so what does that mean to you?
He called me last night and was like, "We coming to you first play of the game. Go score." So him building that confidence in me, because I like the pass, so him building that confidence in me was really big for us to come out strong tonight.
Syracuse has had different big men that have been 7 foot or taller over time. You're the newest one here. What is it about your game that you think is unique and special to Syracuse?
Just the way I move. I'm really mobile and agile for my height, so a lot of people don't know that. I could switch on guards. I switched 1 through 5 last year, so that I can move my feet. So, just not being a 7 foot stiff, as some people would say, just really helping my game.
What was it about your time at Florida State that you feel like you can bring and actually utilize it at Syracuse? What are some of those pieces?
Just the ACC experience, knowing teams in and out, just trying to, be a leader on the court and get that bond going with the guys that's here now.
I was talking with Alan Griffin, and he said, speaking of your mobility, that he wanted to get you to kind of move a little bit more. What do you think will get you more comfortable?
Just time, still got to get comfortable playing with these guys. We go against each other every day in practice, but it's different when you actually playing against somebody else. So just, knowing they got my back and I got their back, it was going to take time.
You've had time with these guys, obviously, in practice and outside of games. This is the first game, but what's it been like, the culture and the atmosphere of Syracuse, in your opinion?
It's new. The whole standing ovation and clapping until somebody score, never seen anything like it. Like, most people would just cheer, but you get to take this in every time we play, and just come out here and try to enjoy the atmosphere. Is really good.
That coming here from Naheem McLeod once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as you have an opportunity to hear from the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team in the beginning of the Adrian Autry era. First game under their belts, a victory 83-72 over New Hampshire. The game story is up on wakeupcalldt.com. Make sure you go and read it now. Up next is Justin Taylor. The team, Syracuse, had seen their lead dwindle down to single digits, I believe, 10 times, at least 10 times in the second half. Half of those times, it was Justin Taylor's points who brought Syracuse back to double digits for their lead. I had the opportunity to speak with Justin Taylor following his offensive play in the second half. This is what he had to say.
So when you look at the second half, I think they had brought it under double digits 10 times, and your points, 5 of those times, were able to get the team back to double digits. Just what you can say about your offense and responding to them when they try to make runs.
Well, I think that's the beauty of our team, whether it's me, whether it's Judah, JJ, whoever it is. I think we have so many guys, so many weapons. So depending on the night, some guy might bring a spark, some guy might struggle. So, but I think that's good for us just to have so many weapons, and one guy struggling, we got a ton of guys to carry that momentum and play together as a team. So just if our defense is going, I think that'll take care of it, and the offense is, no matter what it is, we're going to have weapons. So
2-3 zone all day last season. Now you just play man and a little bit of zone. What's it been like to transition?
Yeah, being able to play both is going to be huge for us, especially in the long season. And I think it's going to confuse offenses, going back and forth. So especially if we can get foul trouble like tonight, going to 2-3 is going to help us. And I think especially down the road, like I said, being able to switch between both is going to be good for us.
Autry's first victory, just what that means to you to be a part of that era. There hasn't been a change in 47 years, so just what that means.
Not special. We definitely don't take it for granted. We celebrated in the locker room after when he came in, threw water on him. So I'm happy for him and his family, and we got many more wins to come, so we're excited.
That coming from Justin Taylor, many more wins to come, and Syracuse fans absolutely hoping for that as we move forward here. Final conversation of the Syracuse Orange, beginning of the Adrian Autry era, on the court with their official first game and first win, 83-72 inside of the Dome, is the first official game for J.J. Starling, who went to Beeville, is a B alum, and has returned to Syracuse. So to be in the Dome, in his home, wearing orange, J.J. Starling and I had a conversation about this very special moment.
Just what it means to you to be out there and be able to get the first win in the Adrian Autry era. Justin said you guys put some water on him in the locker room.
Yeah, it means a lot. This was a confidence boost for us, to trust the work that we've been putting in before these games, and that dub was they're really a good team, and that dub is a good going into Wednesday, build off of that, increase our energy, so it was good.
They made a lot of runs in the second half. I think they had 10 times that they got it into single digits. Just what you can say about having an answer every time they tried to get it close.
Yeah, there was points where we kind of got into a stretch where we weren't scoring, and we kind of let that affect our defense. But, our coach, he calmed us down, with the timeouts, immediate timeouts, and just brought our heads together. We knew what we needed to do, and most of it came on the defensive side. Once we located shooters and stuff like that, that's when we started to pick it up, and it translated to offense.
You're out there, Judah, we see Kyle Cuff as well as Q. Just what it's like to have you all in the backcourt.
Oh, man, it's fun, because you can't key on it on one guy. We all can go. We all can make plays, we all can score, so it's hard to, defend us, and that's what you want in a team. That's what every coach wants, have guys, multiple guys that can make plays for one another.
There was fans that hoped that this moment would come. Your first win in the Dome that counts. What did that mean to you to look around, hear the crowd, be in the Dome, be back home, and be in orange?
Oh, man, it meant a lot. I felt the energy as soon as, they announced my name out of the starting lineup, and right there, I felt like I was at home. And you can't ask for any better feeling than that. And I'm just looking forward to having that same atmosphere for the rest of our games.
That coming from J.J. Starling, once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. A lot of firsts. First game for Adrian Autry as a head coach. First time the fans have seen a different head coach on the sideline outside of when Mike Hopkins was there, when there was the suspension of Jim Boeheim. But talking in the who the head coach was for the last many years, it's the first time that there's been a different coach on the sideline for Syracuse in almost 5 decades. First game in the Dome, first game as head coach, first win as head coach. Big time shout out to a friend of mine who I've known for many years and spent a lot of time with and did a coach's show. Adrian and I were touring through Central and Upstate New York just a few years ago. So big time shout out to Adrian Autry, to Jerry McNamara, to Alan Griffin, to Brendan Strawn, as well as to the student athletes, and a big time shout out to Naheem McLeod scoring the first points in the Adrian Autry era, and a very, very wonderful shout out to bringing a hometown kid back home, J.J. Starling, donning himself in orange for the first time ever and doing it in the Dome. A lot of people hope that JJ would be here and to get to finally see him, right, to go through the recruitment and hope that JJ Starling was going to be a member of the Syracuse Orange, and it didn't happen the first time around. So then people kind of think, okay, it's never going to happen. And then JJ Starling coming in and deciding to leave Notre Dame and come to Syracuse and is back home, which is a truly beautiful thing. So great stuff. A lot of storylines coming out of this first game, finding a way to battle back, finding a way to get through a bunch of runs that happen. As you know, basketball is a game of runs, so finding a way to withstand all of those runs that were tried by New Hampshire and to get that first win for Adrian ever, first win in his first game on the sidelines as the head coach, and first game as the head coach in the Dome, as well as JJ Starling's first game that counts in Orange and JJ's first win in Orange. So a lot of great stuff, a lot of awesome moments. Like I said, Naheem McLeod and scoring the first points in the Adrian Autry era. So really awesome, and a great debut for Naheem McLeod, as this is his first game in Syracuse Orange as well. And he scored 10 seconds into the game at the 1950 mark of the first half against New Hampshire. So big time thanks to Syracuse University and to the men's basketball team, as well as the athletic department, for the opportunity to speak with these wonderful student athletes and coaches. Alan, you will say something nice about my Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm working on it. We'll be back after this fast break for the ingredients to success. Stay with us. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level, is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, located at 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is the place to go for all your sports card needs for soccer, hockey, baseball, basketball, football, and more, as well as Pokemon and Disney Lorcana. You could go to GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Find your way over to the place that's great to expand your memories in the wonderful hobby of sports card collecting and trading card collecting in general. A great place to continue the hobby and a great place to start the hobby as well. So if you've never collected cards before, a wonderful, wonderful first impression is at GG Cards and Breaks. And if you've collected for many years, well, you're not going to find a place like this. Every MLB NBA and NFL team is well represented at GG Cards and Breaks. They have boxes of all of the teams. You could go to the store, and I'm a Diamondback Jaguar Raptor fan. It's the only place that I've been to in decade upon decade that I could go anywhere and find all of my teams in one place. GG Cards and Breaks goes the extra mile with things like that, as well as answering questions, having you bring your cards in that you want to get graded, and having them give you an assessment of it and take a look at everything and let you know what cards they think you should send in and maybe which ones you shouldn't. And they also have the opportunity of sending those cards in for you. So GG Cards and Breaks, from supplies to protecting your cards to sending your cards in to having an honest opinion on grading those cards to finding your packs and singles, your autographs, your relic cards, as well as your boxes. Every single one of those things is in one place at GG Cards and Breaks. And I was there yesterday, and I have to, every time I go, the next day I wake up, I'm like, I want to go back, because it truly helps you to feel like a little kid again for all the right reasons and just in an amazing way. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in today's edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Very quickly, the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, our home for our Liverpool Warriors monthly broadcast, and it's right down the road from Liverpool High School. You can walk from Avicolli's to Liverpool High School and back just a few minutes down the road, and so make sure you do that today if you're over at Liverpool High School, or if you're at Avicolli's, go support Liverpool Athletics. And of course, for lunch, dinner, and drinks, we ask you to drink responsibly. For those of you of age, you can head off to 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York for takeout, delivery, and catering from Avicolli's. You can go to myavicollis.com for their newly redesigned website. That's myavicollis.com, and you can call them at 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. So, with all of that being said, it's time for the ingredients to success. And you hear people say all the time, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like confrontation. I don't know a lot of people that like confrontation. I can't imagine that many people would like confrontation. And somebody who really enjoys confrontation, okay. But most people don't like confrontation, so we hear that all the time, right? I don't like confrontation. So how do we handle it? What are the ingredients to success when there is confrontation, when there is a problem? Well, number one, you have to speak up. You have to be willing to go to the source of the problem and talk to them about the problem. If that doesn't work and they have a superior, you go to their superior and you talk to that superior about the problem, and then you try to assess the problem. But what you cannot do throughout the entire process is worry about the what-ifs with anything. We spend most of our lives worrying about what could happen. Most of our stress comes from things that never occur, are never said, and never done. It's the things we think could be said, could be done, what could come. That's where our stress comes from, most of the time. So, dealing with confrontation, go to the source of the issue. Go to the source of the problem. Talk it out. Listen, be honest, be open. If that doesn't work, go above it. Be open, be honest, listen. But when you care about something, you have to confront the issue. You have to. We don't want to, right? If there's a leak in our ceiling, nobody wants to deal with it. We want to put a bucket underneath it and pretend like it's not there and hope it doesn't get any bigger. We actually hope that we can go to sleep. Most of us hope that we can go to sleep, wake up, and it mysteriously disappeared. It's not there anymore because we don't want to deal with it. But if you don't deal with it, then it gets bigger. Then there's more water. Then there's a stain. Now we're nervous of what could happen if we let that continue to go. Nobody wants to deal with a leaky roof. But we have to deal with a leaky roof. We don't want to spend time, money, and energy on it. Just like we don't want to spend time, money, and energy on a lot of things that are stressful and annoying and that we don't feel like we deserve. But life doesn't always give you what you think you deserve or what you think you've earned. Sometimes life presents problems and you have to go to that leaky roof, and you have to do more than put a bucket underneath it, and you have to do more than go into bed hoping that It'll just not be there in the morning. You have to take care of that leaky roof. You have to fix what you need to fix. You have to find the source of the leak, and you have to get rid of that source of the leak, right? You have to, or fix that source of the leak. Whatever you need to do, you have to go to the source of the leak in your life, figuratively and literally, and you have to fix it. And you can't always fix it by yourself. So my prayer and my hope to you today and always is that when you have to deal with confrontation, that you trust in yourself, you trust in God, you have faith, you have courage. You don't have to not be afraid, but your courage has to trump that fear. So go out, do the best you can, and understand nobody likes dealing with a leaky faucet or a leaky roof or a leaky anything. But we have to, so that we can keep ourselves safe and put ourselves in good positions. So go fix that leaky roof today. I have faith in you, and I trust that you'll be good. God bless you. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call on YouTube.com and Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the location is the name of the restaurant. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Great Lakes Honda City, Avicolli's, and Mother's Cupboard. Make sure that you also spend your time with the Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and the Alfred University Saxons, as we are their exclusive multimedia marketing partner. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of the Lemoyne College Dolphins, featuring Dolphin Time Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with AD and DT, with Athletics Director Bob Beretta, and myself, Dan Tortora, as well as the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. We underpromise and overdeliver. We promise you Wednesdays at 9, but we've already given you a bunch going into this Wednesday, and you'll have another one today airing for the Dolphin Dive. So make sure you stay close and subscribe to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT and see our Lemoyne tab there for our Lemoyne playlist on our YouTube channel. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. As always, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse bring you the Bobcat Buzz in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. Find your Bobcats every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Throughout the year with student athletes, coaches, administration. Always happy to have the Bobcats on the show. Big time shout out to the men's and women's basketball teams that have started their seasons off with positivity, as well as the women's soccer and men's soccer team that both have the opportunity to be ranked number 1 or 2 in the national playoffs. And the selection show will be carried live by Wake Up Call on site, on location at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse on James Street this Wednesday, November 8th. And I look forward to seeing you there or seeing you online. The Bobcat Buzz, you can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT and clicking subscribe. And you can find the BSC Syracuse playlist there for the Bobcats. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And as always, go Bobcats. The Alfred University Saxons are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Mondays are Saxon time at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, featuring our specials throughout the year, the Presidential Perspective Series with President Mark Zupan of Alfred University, as well as the Saxon Spotlights on student athletes, coaches, alumni, and administration. Find all of our content by subscribing to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT and clicking on the Alfred U. Saxons playlist that features at least 40 videos and counting with the Alfred University Saxons. For more information, go to GoSaxons.com, and as the website tells you, go Saxons. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', head to 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York today for Ma and Pa's to get those holiday gift baskets ready, as well as to go and find your favorite sweet and savory treats. We all watch movies, TV shows, we go to games, we travel, so the perfect buddy for all of that are your snacks from Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Head there today, 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Big time shout out inside of Christy's Corner, exclusively brought to you by PB&J's Lunchbox, to Christy Salters, Martin, Pat Orr, and our special guest, Johnny Callas today. Many thanks, and a big time shout out to Matt Gallagher of the Maine-Endwell Spartans that have a game coming up in the postseason here, and continued hopes for them, and God bless. To the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team, Adrian Autry, congratulations on your first win in your first game as head coach, and the ingredients to success proudly brought to you by Avicolli's. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT.